Hi, I'm Travis Davis, veteran and author of One of Four. I want to welcome you to my Veterans Day special. I'm here in Allen, Texas, at Bethany Lakes at the Veterans Memorial. Did you know there's 16.9 million veterans as of 2023? The average age is over 65, 49% are over the age of 65, and it's dwindling every year. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the origins of Veterans Day and a little bit about it. We're also going to talk to one of the sentinels that guard the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. We're also going to watch Changing of the Guard, but we're going to get some information about why and how did Veterans Day become. We're here inside of the memorial in Allen, Texas, where we have the Coast Guard. Did you know the Coast Guard is not under the Department of Defense? Where do you think it is? It's not Department of Defense. Here we have the United States Air Force, 1957, and we have the granddad of them all, the United States Army, 1775. Kind of partial to the Army. That's where I spent all my military career. Here we have Department of the Navy. And under the Department of the Navy, we also have the United States Marine Corps. So on this Veterans Day special, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go back. Well, here's where we're gonna go. We're gonna go back in time to 1917, and we say in the Army, follow me. On April 6, 1917, the United States declared war against Germany. At that time, the nation only had a standing army of 127,500 officers and soldiers. By the end of the war, over 4 million men and women served the war effort. The World War I Memorial in Washington, D.C. at Pershing Park by Sabin Howard depicts the journey of one soldier through World War I. Like so many men that went and served in World War I, the United States was not ready for the war. Small standing army, not very much experience, and did not know anything about trench warfare. That is why we relied heavily on the British and French to teach us, to train us to go into combat. But yet, when the American soldiers went into combat, they were decisive and they were victorious. Yet, the soldiers fought on, and yes, there were casualties, both physically and mentally. Shell shock, what today we call PTSD. The war had claimed 116,516 U.S. soldiers. Many more wounded. Most of them came back with either physical or mental issues. World War I was the first war of modern combat. The airplane, gas, accurate artillery, machine guns. The United States civilian population was not ready for what they saw when the soldiers come home or what they heard from these brave soldiers, the doughboys. On November 11th, 1918, Germany surrendered, signing the Armistice. On November 11th, 1918, President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed November 11th as the first commemoration of Armistice Day with the following words. In America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service, and with gratitude for the victory, both because of the thing from which it freed us, and because the opportunity has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of the nations. The first memorialization of Veterans Day was November 11th, 1921, with the entombment of the unknown soldier from World War I. At Arlington National Cemetery. Hi, I'm Travis Davis, author of One of Four, and I'm here at Arlington National Cemetery on Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And I have the privilege of interviewing one of the sentinels. It is such an honor coming from me, a retired Sergeant First Class 19 Delta, not infantry guy, to interview one of these soldiers that's the cream of the crop. So how did you get interested, or how did you become aware of becoming a sentinel?
Yeah, so it actually goes back years, right? During my 8th grade DC field trip. I didn't have the opportunity to actually go with my classmates due to not being as affluent as they were. Right. So I kind of have a fear of missing out on that FOMO. So I was online on YouTube, looking up like the monuments and everything, and I came across this place. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is really, really cool.
Yeah.
So I was like astounded by the discipline, the perfection that they display. It was kind of my overall inspiration for joining the military.
Mhm.
So a few years go by, I graduated high school at Olentangy, Berlin, in Ohio,
Mhm.
and I enlisted right away. Went through my 6 month infantry training, got stationed here. Now, initially when I got stationed here, I was kind of bummed out. 'Cause I was like, I don't want to be here. I want to do infantry guy things. Yeah, real cool, like cool guy stuff, right? I'm infantry. 'Cause you don't really do that here. I mean, we still train to
Yes.
maintain our tactical and aspect of the infantry lifestyle,
Yeah.
but we're more or less ceremonial guards or ceremonial duties.
Yes.
So I got here, and that's when I learned after like a month of being here, like, oh my gosh, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is here. Like my inspiration for joining the military. So initially I contacted the assistant sergeant of the guard at the time, and he was like, no, you can't come. You're too tall. Right? I'm 6'9".
Yeah.
So
I 6'8", that's pretty close.
I don't like really being told what I can't do because of my height.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, like this isn't the right answer, but it was an answer. I contacted them like at least once every other week, like, hey, can I come down? Hey, can I come down? Finally, they were like, yeah, just let them come down. So in my head, I'm like thinking, oh man, I gotta go above and beyond because this is what I wanted to do. Right? I spent 6 months of working and harassing this platoon just for the opportunity to guard the unknowns.
Right.
I came down here. I'm studying. So we have 17 pages of knowledge you need to memorize verbatim.
Yeah.
But initially, they give you only 7 of those pages. While studying, I'm practicing my tomb walk at Home Depot and down the aisle. Watching the guard changes on
Yeah.
52, just trying to get it down. Comes down to the testing day. My final test was, hey, go see if you fit in that green box. So,
Really?
yes.
Wow, this seems to fit. That's all. So, how long you been in the Army?
I've been in the Army a little bit over 3 years.
Okay. And what's the tour? Do you do 3 or 2 tour?
So, the tour down the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier generally is about 2 years.
Okay.
Now, the idea behind that is you spend a year going through training,
Yes.
and then a year training at the place.
Okay.
I've been here a little bit over that time.
So it must be good.
I do my
So what is it for me when I go out there and I just watch it or even look at it without just you guys, doing your guarding? I get emotional because I understand the sacrifices and just in a family that really never had closure.
Mhm.
But the country has so much closure because you guys are out there guarding something that's tangible, right? I can see it. And World War One unknown soldier is the only one buried underneath the sarcophagus.
Yes.
The others, World War II, Korea, Vietnam was exhumed here recently, and they're out in front. So, from the feeling that I get, what's your first time, going out there and going out there and guard? What was that like emotionally from not just you, but as a soldier?
Yes. So at first, before you go out and guard in the day, we guard at night time. And my first time ever being posted at night, it was unreal. It was this is the easiest way to put it. It's those that came before me, and I'm right here. I wouldn't say it's probably until Veterans Day or Memorial Day where they open up the chains and you have a lot of like mothers here, especially the Gold Star families. You have a lot of people that have lost loved ones to conflict.
Yeah.
People that their loved ones just never came home. They don't know where they're at.
Yes.
And I think that's really it. Because you can come out here and say, like, I understand, I see it, but until you actually see those families and interact with them, it's a totally different feeling. Like, it it's reality.
Right.
And it's just crazy.
Yeah, I think everybody in America needs to come see this. And I'll tell you why I'm doing this. So I'm an author. I was a book signing in Clover, the place to sell books. And I was talking to this young gentleman, 20, 21 years old, and I talked to him about the book, and he said, I gave it to the 2 men on the soldier. He goes, "What's that?" So I was like, okay. Then it was like Arlington National Cemetery. He goes, "Where's that?" So at that instant, I said, I'm going to make it my personal mission for this year to do a Veterans Day special. So we're visiting World War One. We were actually at the dedication of World War One monument last week because I know the sculptor.
Wow.
So that's beautiful there. Then Sabin Howard, by the way, was fantastic. So we went to World War II, Vietnam, Korea yesterday. So it's just spectacular. But people have to understand this patriotism. That there's sacrifices, and all these out here have sacrificed the ultimate for the country. And we have 3 heroes that nobody cares where they come from. Nobody cares, what they look like. Nobody cares anything about them other than they're ours, right? They're American. They're sacred. They're our heroes. And I think that's important.
That's
So when you go to a regular unit, they march a lot different. That's very Von Steuben, right? I mean, that's so. How do you think that's gonna? If you're gonna transition here, there's going to be a transition
just
back.
there, yeah. So it's actually completely different. This is totally different drill and ceremony.
Oh yeah.
Like even from our honor guard company on Fort Minor, where I originally came from, is different weapon manual, different marching, like you said, different cadence. It's like I tried to go back up there because you can hear when the funerals come by, they have the drums playing, and it's like there's no way I can even move that fast. But there definitely is. It's a habit and something I'm gonna have to break eventually. But
so you get your pick of duty stations after this?
Most of us do, especially if you leave from being an unknown soldier, just because.
Oh yeah. Oh, I would highly. Yeah, because I think you can go into a unit and immediately have leadership traits, morality. I mean, that whole thing of you're coming in as a complete soldier. So there may be some soldiers in the unit are, a little not disciplined. There's a few of the time, but I will say I never recommended anybody for Article 15 in my 20 years.
Oh,
I took care of it.
Little wall to
wall. So I think that helps with going out there and showing that pride, that esprit de corps, which I missed when I got out of the Army. Camaraderie, right? That whole thing. It's hard to get back in the civilian life. So where are you from, and what you can tell people about you?
So my name is Malachi Hamber. I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio. Born and raised there. Graduated from Olentangy Berlin High School, and I enlisted in the United States Army right after I graduated.
So what do you want to do? Maybe young. Oh, 21 years old, probably.
That's a good question. I ask myself a lot. I mean, when I was little, the only thing I wanted to be was an army man.
I wanted to be a soldier too. That's all I wanted to be.
But I love it.
Yeah.
It's great, but it's the best job I've ever had. It really is.
I love that. When I quit high school, 11th grade, 17 years old, Friday, Tuesday, I was in basic training. And I was like, okay, I'll do 3 years, I'll get out. And then I went to, Germany, and go to the Switzerland border.
3 years.
They kept on expanding, and I got inducted to the Sergeant Morales Club. So that helps your career. But I just, somehow you don't know, but you fall in love with it, even though you kind of hate it sometimes.
Exactly. That's exactly what I meant.
Like, I want to get out of it, but I can't. I love the Army. I highly recommend service for any. My son is a veteran, spent 4 years in the military with Afghanistan. Highly recommend the military, whatever you want to do. But I want to thank you from not only me, but I hope the nation for what you do. Now we're gonna stand up, and he is super tall. So I'm not standing in a hole, everybody. He is this tall, and I want to thank you, A, for taking the time and just doing what you do. Of course.
Thank you. Thank you.
In 1938, President Coolidge issued an annual proclamation calling for the observance of November 11th with appropriate ceremony. World War I was thought to be the war to end all wars, but it didn't. December 7th, 1941, the United States enters World War II. By this massive and absolutely beautiful memorial in Washington, D.C., you can see just how big World War was too. It encompassed the entire world, from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean. In World War II, 405,399 men and women service members lost their lives. Over 16 million served in the military during World War II. On this wall, each star represents 100 U.S. casualties in World War II. The war in Europe ended on May the 7th, 1945. In the Pacific, 2nd of September, 1945. The United States was at peace again. Peace lasted less than 5 years, and then the Korean War broke out. 25th of June, 1950 to the 27th of July, 1953. 6.8 million Americans served during that time in Korea. 54,200 killed. Beautiful memorial in Washington, D.C. depicts an infantry platoon advancing on the enemy. The weather conditions were horrible in Korea. Yet the soldiers trudged on, the Marines, the Navy, the Air Force. They all trudged on and fought heroically against the Chinese and the North Koreans. June 1st, 1954, President Eisenhower changed the name from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. October 8th, 1954, he issues the first Veterans Day proclamation.
I served because I had a lot of family in the military and I wanted to continue that legacy on. And it also helped pay for school, which is like a great deal that you can't beat.
Yep.
That was some years back, and it was a really good experience.
Thank you. And, folks, what's really cool about this, these two are Army nurses, and we're actually at the monument for the nurses in Vietnam. So, and you, why did you join?
I wanted to become a nurse, specifically an Army nurse, to not only take care of patients, but to take care of soldiers too. That gives it a little bit of a greater meaning. And that sounded really special. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Yeah.
One of the most iconic war memorials is the Vietnam Memorial. 58,318 American names are scribed on this beautiful black granite. Vietnam War went from November 1st, 1954 to April 30th, 1975. A very contentious period was the Cold War. November 1st, 1954, April 30th, 1975, with the fall of the Soviet Union. August 2nd, 1990, America was at war again, this time in the Middle East, the Gulf War. 147 service members killed. The war lasted till the 20th of February, 1991, one of the largest mobilizations of U.S. military since World War II. 2001, American service members have been in continuous war. Operation Enduring Freedom, 2,459 casualties. The Iraq War, 4,431 casualties. The war in Afghanistan, 2,459. Thank you for watching my Veterans Day special. I hope you got a little information about Veterans Day and why we have it and what the origination of Veterans Day, and how proud we are as veterans to have served this great, great country of ours. So from me to all my veterans, thank you. Thank you very much. The next time you see a veteran, ask him why. You might get surprised at the answers of why these individuals joined to protect this great country of ours. So, thank you. As a final tribute to our veterans, let's watch the changing of the guard at the tomb of the unknown soldier in Arlington National Cemetery.
What? Hold on! Oh! Forward! March! Oh! Ready? Face! Hands on your orders. Vote and order. Remain as directed. Order. Take note. Ready? Face! Present! Arms!